Hi, I'm Jill from SF Tourism Tips, and Solo Build It has given me all of the support and tools I needed and still need to build a successful travel site. I don't have to worry about the back end. I don't have to worry about the technology, and any tools that I need to build the site are right there.
How many times have you thought about creating an alternative income? Maybe start your own business, create an alternative income that will actually support you to live a better, freer life. Have you ever thought about how much it would cost? Starting a business would be at least $50,000 to $100,000 just to get going. And then there's the staff and the product and the rent and everything else that goes with it. That really, there's a lot of money going out before there's much money coming in. Alternatively, you could locate yourself in a corner of the internet, profiting by sharing information about a particular subject or expertise that you are quite enthusiastic about. And all of this for less than $1 a day, plus your energy and enthusiasm, which you'd need for a shop anyway. Hello, I'm Paul Buckingham, roving ambassador for Solo Build It. This is exactly what Jill Loeffler did in 2009 when she decided she wanted to replace her income from her corporate job with income from a website. The result was SF Tourism Tips, and you can discover the first part of her journey in the link just above my shoulder there, or if you can't see it, in the description box just below this video. In this interview, we explore how Jill attracts her traffic and makes her money. We explore how the pandemic has affected her income and what she is doing while many of her competition have basically stopped working while San Francisco has been shut down. Whether you are inexperienced or experienced at building websites, retired, looking for extra income, or wanting a complete change to your lifestyle, success requires a particular success mindset. Solo Build It supports you through that process, just as it has for Sarah Boyson. She replaced her work income with a site for beginners in bookkeeping. Another example is Gerhild Filson, who supports her and her husband's pastoral work with her much-loved German recipes. And another example is Greg Worth, who is a physician by profession and has followed his personal passion with his model railway site and shop. If you're wanting to embark on your own journey, whether it's gardening in the backyard, building jet engines, restoring cars, or washing specialist windows, then what Jill has to say next is going to be important for you. We'll find out what it is right after this.
There are a couple of things that are important for an online business. Knowing that you're going to be working for yourself and most likely by yourself, you definitely have to have a lot of internal motivation. Creativity is key, but that doesn't mean design or look and feel necessarily. I think it's the creativity in setting the content up and writing the content in a way that's helpful for other people. So I think those are really two really big pieces. And I think another big thing is making sure that you can pick yourself back up after you get discouraged. You're probably going to get discouraged, especially in the beginning. I still get discouraged. Some things I think are going to work, they don't work, or sometimes things have worked in the past and now they're not working anymore. So especially in the beginning when you're, working a ton of hours and there's very little to show for it and you're learning something new. So I think, those are kind of the key things that will really help you know that you are right for an online business.
There's another ingredient too that I think is pretty critical, and that is be willing to ask questions. In the Solo Build It environment, that is absolutely an opportunity that most people take advantage of. Most people who are successful, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the great things is, there's a big community around SBI, Solo Build It. It's, the forums are huge. And knowing kind of what you don't know, I guess, or being willing to learn, and then being willing to ask questions when you are at a stopping point. So that's the great thing. Even though you're working by yourself, for yourself, maybe feeling alone in the process, you're actually never really alone in the process, because the community is so strong within the SBI forums.
Yeah, and that's a really critical point, is that you actually don't know what you don't know. And so to have the action guide to follow and to be able to ask questions as you go along and actually have really supportive responses rather than trolling or anything like that, which just does not happen in the Solo Build It forums, is actually a huge upstep towards being a successful online business owner.
There's a lot to learn, but there's a lot of people around to help all the time. So I think that's probably one of the reasons that I stuck with it for so many years, until I got to the point where, then more of the money started coming in, and, the traffic started coming in, and all of that. So
Jill mentions traffic and monetization there in the same sentence, and obviously they go together. Without the traffic, there won't be the monetization. And without the monetization, the odds are you probably wouldn't be working on the project unless it was something for a charitable purpose. So let's recap on her traffic. If you've already watched the first interview, you'd know that most of her traffic comes from Google and the other search engines. It's all completely free. And this is something Solo Build It is very successful at teaching, even beginners, how to do. So here's how much traffic Jill is getting now and how much she was getting prior to COVID. Note the difference and hold that thought, because we will be coming back to this later in the interview. For now, let's look at her other sources of traffic.
Yeah, so I get quite a bit of traffic from Facebook and from Pinterest. Those are two of the big ones that I focus most of my time on. The other ones I haven't focused my time on them much until just recently. So both Facebook and Pinterest bring in quite a bit of traffic, and they kind of compete with each other. It's, some weeks Pinterest will bring in more traffic than Facebook, and, it all kind of depends on just what posts are trending at that time. So both of them bring in a decent amount of traffic, but by far most of my traffic is coming, it's free Google traffic.
Getting someone to visit a website once is one thing. Getting them to visit a second time is another thing altogether. Think about your own behaviour when you visit websites. Jill's key focus is building quality information so people do want to come back. She, after all, has an insider website, so she's providing information that people wouldn't necessarily find in other locations. She does this by answering questions and keeping the site completely up to date so it has an absolute relevancy for anybody that's planning and then actually visiting.
There's a couple of ways that I get people to come back to the site. One is, of course, great content. If you haven't spent the time on the content, it's going to be really difficult to get people in, but also get them coming back for more. But a couple of other ways is I try to move people around, is kind of the way I look at it. So if they've come to the website, I try to get them to follow me on social media. If they follow me on social media, I try to get them to come to the website. In addition to that, I also do weekly emails. So anybody that's coming to the site that's interested, they'll sign up for the email. They'll get a free guide, which is just kind of a quick guide, gives them sort of the high level pieces that they need for their trip. And then they're on my weekly email, which gives them a lot more information that will help them build a great plan, build a great vacation, and it helps me get more people coming back to the site.
As well as her high-quality communications, Jill has just begun a new project which enables her to build even deeper relationships and provide resources that people will be able to pay for.
I recently started a Facebook group, and it started slow in the first couple of months, and now it's building really nicely. And the people are very active, very interested in asking questions, even helping people. A lot of the people have been here before, and so they share their experiences with those that are new to the group. But then they're also looking for more information to expand on when they come back next time. And so I have a few different ideas on how I plan to monetize that group, which is through some of my own products, through ebooks and other things. And I am working on some partnerships with some local companies that they will be able to do some advertising in there a little bit, but then also there will be something in return for the people in the Facebook group too. So, discounts and exclusive offers and those types of things. So as it builds, I'm already working on the background to make it even better for them, in addition to my business overall.
That's a really interesting insight, because basically what you're talking about there is creating a really loyal group of followers that interact with you, that will also want to buy from you, as well as you offer new products and things that will support them in their exploration of San Francisco. You're really taking the relationship that you've got with your visitors to a whole new level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces of owning a website, is that it's not just, putting up a wall in between you and the visitors that are coming in. It's really making it interactive and being available for them, helping them. One of my biggest things is that it's an insider's guide. And so I'm going to help them. And as an insider, I can answer questions that they're probably not going to get answers from other competitors, from some of the big ones, the big review sites. They're not actually going to be coming in as an insider and helping them personally find what they need. So, there's just so many different ways that, the website and the business expands as you learn more, think about it, see what some other people are doing, and continue to build on the business.
Yeah, we talked a bit about traffic earlier and the sources of your traffic. And we also talked a little bit about COVID. And of course, COVID must have had some impact on your traffic. Have you found that the income has dipped as a result? And how have you managed that?
Yeah, it's dipped quite significantly for me. I have about a fifth of the traffic that I normally have during this time. So I'm not at zero by any means, but it's dipped quite a bit. And then in addition to it dipping, because nobody knows when things are going to open up again, I have more people just looking at my site instead of actually purchasing, because certain things aren't open yet. Certain things, maybe the dates are out, but there's a limited number of tickets. So what I did in the short term and what is turning into a long term is, one of the things that I do is I'm constantly testing new monetization, new content, social media. I'm always testing and trying new things. And one of the things I decided once when COVID hit and my traffic started to go down and also money started to go down is I signed up for Mediavine, which is advertising on the site. And so that's something that I will make money just when people visit the site. And so it's something that I thought about trying in the past, but I didn't really have a motivation to do it because I was making good money before COVID hit. So it was a great time to try out a new monetization model, and it's working really well. One of the reasons I really like Mediavine and why it works so well for me is I can decide what the density is on my site. So if I want, more ads on the site, I can increase it. If I want fewer ads on the site, I can decrease it. So I'm sort of in a medium density right now. And as more people start coming to the site, I might decrease that a little bit more as some of the other monetization options kick back in. So, for me, even though traffic is down and money's down, it's a great time to test and try some new things that I just hadn't really gotten the time to get around to before.
Yeah, it's a really good insight actually into how you approach the business. And, you really have to think about it as a business. You don't go, oh my goodness, COVID-19's hit, the travel industry has been hit, I think I should get a job or something. You actually work with what you've got and see how it can be refined and improved, because at some point this will all end and you want to be ready.
My Facebook group, I do polls in there, and people are really, they would be traveling now if they could. They know they can't. So, they're ready to come the minute that they can come over to San Francisco. They're going to be here. So I want to make sure that I'm ready for them, that I'm, looking at what's going on, helping them understand when they can come back, and then what's going to be open when they do come back. So it's been a really tough time, but in the end, we're just making the most of it.
So, Jill, the all-important question that anybody watching is going to want to know about is how, after having quit your job 10 or 11 years ago, you're going financially in order to be able to sustain this. Have you actually got to a point where you don't have to do part-time work anymore, where you're able to live off the site?
Yes. And we've been living off the site for a while now, quite some time. We've bought a couple of houses with our income from the business, and it's something that has been full-time for me since 2011. So it's been my main source of income since that point.
So how is it possible to evaluate your income then? Because being a tourist-based industry, it must fluctuate quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. There are a lot of ups and downs with the seasons, around the holidays, something like what we're going through right now with COVID. Some months will, make 4,000 or 5,000, and other months, sometimes it'll be up to 10,000. So there are so many things that impact our income. But we do maintain a steady base that's enough to always pay our bills, and we kind of live on that. And then the rest of it, it's just sort of gravy to us.
Do you feel vulnerable at any stage, more vulnerable or less vulnerable than somebody who has a job, for example?
Yeah, I think so. And some of the things that I've learned over the years, and some of the, some of the, I don't know if they're pain points or what you would call them, but, some of the things that I try to do is make sure that we don't have too much money coming from one source. So for a while, we had an affiliate partner that was paying 80 to 90% of our income. And that made me really nervous. And, because if they decide to pull their program, or if they change the terms, then our income is significantly impacted. And that was really the piece that got me from really just relying on one affiliate to trying different things and really working on the monetization. And so we moved that from 90 down to about, 30 some percent. And interestingly enough, when COVID hit, this affiliate, they've stopped their program for now, and we don't know for sure when it's going to come back up. So yeah, it's a 30%, 40% hit. But we've done some other things. Like I mentioned, we now have Mediavine on the site, which will make up the difference for that. So we're not concerned about that anymore. At first we were, but I guess the point is that there's always a way to sort of come back and try different things and look at different things. Even if you need a week or two to sort of mentally recover, there's always different ways to make money, to find monetization ideas. But as far as vulnerability, I think it's, absolutely, we feel that, but I think it's always looking at where your weak points are. And so monetization, of course, was one, with having one affiliate managing 90%. I mean, that's almost like just working for a corporation, right? And so, the plan was to be more flexible, be able to make more of our own decisions. And by having one affiliate that was managing so much of our income, it's just something that we work on. So I'm always looking for those pain points, whether it's traffic or monetization or, I can't think of any other points, but any other pieces of the business that might be an issue.
Jill, you seem to be really talking there about minimizing risk and also future-proofing your business. We see so many instant gratification and instant website offers from competitors, all with huge marketing budgets. What is the practical benefit for you of Solo Build It?
I think there are several reasons why I have continued to use Solo Build It. I think the first one is, in the beginning, being able to use the action guide to really learn to build a stable business, to understand how to build a business of a website instead of just a hobby site. Then I think the second piece is just the ease of use and the fact that all the tools really that I need, almost all the tools are just available within the system. I don't have to worry about the back end. I don't have to worry about the technology. And any tools that I need to build the site are right there. And then the third piece is the community. The community has been really big. Whenever I'm feeling down or feel like I'm not confident enough with something, I just feel like I can, I can reread pieces of the action guide. I can look at all the tools online. There's also several articles, and it just gives me the confidence that I need in order to continue on with my site. And that also has to do with the community and being able to reach out to other people, talk to other people, learn what they're doing, what works and doesn't work. So I think it's really kind of those three pieces that keep me with Solo Build It. And, that's the plan for the near future for me.